Have you ever stood up and felt your legs tremble slightly? Or noticed your balance isn't what it used to be? Maybe walking to the kitchen or climbing just one stair feels heavier lately. For seniors over 60, these aren't just signs of aging. They're warnings your body whispers before shouting. And surprisingly, the true culprit may be what's on your dinner plate. Every bite you take carries a message to your muscles, your nerves, your independence. And for millions of elderly Americans, quiet danger hides in plain sight. The meats we eat every day. Recent studies in senior health and longevity have exposed an alarming truth. Many popular meats consumed after 60 don't nourish your strength. They silently strip it away, weakening your legs, slowing your reflexes, even increasing your chances of falling. And when you lose your legs, you don't just lose movement, you risk losing freedom. Just ask Robert, 71. Once an active retiree who took daily walks around his Arizona neighborhood, he began experiencing stiffness in his knees and soreness that lingered for hours. Doctors ruled out arthritis. The real problem? His daily breakfast, sausage. Today, Robert walks again, stronger, because he made one change: his diet. This video isn't just about avoiding falls. It's about reclaiming your vitality, your confidence, your peace of mind. So if you're ready to protect your legs, your balance, and maybe even your independence, keep watching. In the next few minutes, you'll learn which 5 meats are robbing you of strength and what to eat instead. And before we begin, if you believe in elderly reflections, in sharing senior wisdom, and finding practical life lessons from the elderly, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with someone you care about. Let's stay strong together. Let's begin with the quietest culprit, one that appears in nearly every senior's refrigerator: processed deli meats, pastrami, salami, bologna, ham, turkey slices, hot dogs. These are marketed as convenient, protein-packed staples for lunch. And yet, for seniors, they are ticking time bombs. These meats are loaded with sodium, nitrates, phosphates, and preservatives, substances that over time damage muscle fibers, stiffen joints, and weaken circulation. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults with high nitrate intake were significantly more likely to experience reduced grip strength and slower gait speed, key markers of frailty. Tom, 68, from Nevada, didn't see it coming. He enjoyed his cold-cut sandwich every day at lunch, until one morning, he lost his balance getting out of bed. After 2 minor falls and a hospital visit, his doctor advised he cut out deli meats. Within weeks, Tom said, I didn't just feel steadier, I felt awake. The hidden danger? These meats promote chronic inflammation, a low-burning fire in your body that accelerates aging from the inside out. They also constrict blood vessels, limiting the oxygen your legs need to stay strong. And when oxygen drops, fatigue, cramping, and that heavy leg sensation creep in. Over time, you may not even notice the decline until the stairs seem longer, your knees ache more, or you hesitate before getting out of the chair. Let's move on to fried meats and fast food. Fried chicken, chicken nuggets, fried fish, burger patties from fast food joints. These crispy comfort foods come with a cost, one your legs will eventually pay. They're often cooked in reused industrial oils rich in trans fats, which block nutrient absorption and clog arteries. This makes it harder for your muscles to repair and rebuild. Your legs, which carry the load every day, suffer most. Dolores, 74, in Georgia, used to grab fried chicken on her way home from church every Sunday. It was tradition, she said. But after needing a walker to get to a mailbox, she reconsidered. Her doctor pointed to her lipid profile: high LDL, low circulation. It wasn't just my heart, Dolores said, it was my legs crying out. Beyond fats, fried foods lose nearly all essential nutrients and chronic. What's left? Empty calories that feed inflammation and starve your cells. This ties back to the J curve of strength decline. You don't feel worse overnight. It starts slow. Mild fatigue, soreness, tightness in the calves. But then comes the drop, a fall, a fracture, or worse. And once you're on that slope, the climb back is steep. Blood flow is vital. When the arteries in your legs narrow due to plaque buildup, your muscles don't receive the nutrients they need. You might feel like your legs are asleep. Experience tingling, walking sensations. This isn't just aging, it's damage from the food. Inflammation doesn't just wear on your joints, it erodes your confidence. You begin touching Now let's talk about sausages, bacon, and cured pork, the morning trap. Few things smell more inviting than sizzling bacon. But for aging bodies, that scent may be the start of decline. Cured pork products like sausages, bacon, and breakfast links are packed with saturated fats, nitrates, and preservatives. These inflame blood vessels, tighten joints, and disrupt nerve signals. If your legs feel stiff in the morning, or if standing takes longer than it used to, these meats might be why. Victor, 73 from Texas, shared a startling realization. Every morning I had bacon, then every day I moved a little slower. I didn't link them until I stopped eating it. 2 months after switching to lean turkey and eggs, his balance improved. These meats also elevate sodium levels, leading to swelling in the legs. That puffiness isn't harmless. It's blood flow struggling against pressure. Over time, nerves suffer and falls become more likely. The story here loops around to a deeper truth. What you eat isn't just about taste. It's about what kind of future you want to walk toward. Seniors often describe feeling like they're slowing down. But that's not destiny. That's diet. Neurologists have shown that nitrates in cured meats may damage nerve endings responsible for fine motor control. In seniors, that means trouble lifting feet properly, dragging toes, or shuffling. A dangerous trio when it comes to health. What's more, cured meats don't only affect movement, they also rob your mornings of energy. A heavy breakfast full of processed pork leads to an insulin spike, followed by fatigue and brain fog. That means by the time you finish breakfast, you're already operating at a disadvantage. And when that becomes your daily pattern, the body begins to shut down faster. Joints stiffen sooner, naps become necessary, not optional, and confidence dwindles. It all begins, quite literally, with what's on your plate. In the next section, we'll go deeper into the needs that seem innocent, but are secretly accelerating loneliness and weakening your body from within. That includes what some call a main strength, but maybe sticking or stability. There's a story we've been told since childhood, that red meat is strength, that a steak on your plate means you're eating like a king, feeding your body the protein it craves. But what if that story has a dangerous twist, especially after 60? For seniors, this belief can quietly chip away at the very strength they're trying to preserve. Red meats, steak, beef, lamb, pork chops, are rich in protein and iron, yes, but they are also high in saturated fats, acids, and inflammatory compounds. Over time, these elements create a perfect storm for the aging body. Consider Richard, 75 from Colorado. He prided himself on grilling a juicy ribeye every Friday, a ritual from his younger days. But in recent years, he noticed his legs growing tired after short walks. Morning stiffness became a regular guest. His doctor reviewed his diet and made a surprising connection: too much red meat. Within 2 months of reducing intake and introducing more plant-based protein, Richard reported a lightness in his step he hadn't felt in years. "I thought I was slowing down from age," he said. "Turns out it was the food dragging me." Here's the truth. When consumed in excess, red meat promotes low-grade inflammation that doesn't show up on the surface but works overtime deep in the tissues. This chronic inflammation targets muscles, softens cartilage, and thickens blood vessels, making every step more difficult. A study in the British Journal of Nutrition found that seniors who ate high amounts of red meat had increased biomarkers linked to inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which are direct contributors to muscle wasting and joint degradation. It's not just about protein anymore. It's about how that protein is packaged and processed inside your body. Think of your legs as a delicate system of gears. They rely on oxygen, clean blood flow, and supple joints to move efficiently. But when the gears are bathed in inflammatory oils and stiffened by acidic compounds, even the best engine can falter. Your legs begin to feel heavy, not because they're weak, but because they're working harder to do what used to be easy. But there's another silent cost to red meat: bone health. Most red meats are acidic in nature. When consumed frequently, the body is forced to neutralize this acidity. And to do that, it draws calcium from your bones. This subtle leaching process may not be noticeable at first, but over time, it lowers bone density. The result? Fragile bones, hips and femurs that are one misstep away from a fracture. Seniors who consume excessive red meat have been shown to have a higher incidence of osteoporosis-related injuries, often mistaken as inevitable aging, but actually preventable. Joanne, 69, from Illinois, slipped in her kitchen while reaching for a pot. The fall was minor. The outcome was a fractured hip that required 3 months of treatment. Her bone scan revealed moderate density. No one ever told me my diet was wrong, she said. I thought I was doing right by eating safe. I was eating my routines, life without. This isn't about fear. It's about power. The power to pause, reflect, and shift. Elderly reflections aren't just nostalgia. They are tools to help us choose better. Every meal is a chance to rebuild. After 60, your body's ability to regenerate slows, doesn't stop. Give it the right tools. Less red meat, more green vegetables rich in magnesium and calcium, more lentils, beans, and salmon, and you'll notice the gears begin to loosen again. You'll stand up faster. You'll climb stairs without hesitation. You'll feel that internal switch from tired to vital. And there's more. Red meat has been linked to arterial plaque buildup, which limits circulation in the lower limbs. Poor circulation leads to numbness, tingling, even peripheral neuropathy. You know that pins and needles sensation you sometimes feel after sitting too long? That could be your body warning you that blood isn't moving freely, and red meat may be part of the blockage. The J-curve strikes again. The first phase is pleasure. Rich flavor, full belly, a sense of satisfaction. The middle phase is gradual decline. Sluggishness, less recovery after walks, swelling in the calves. The final phase is loss of mobility, of freedom, of confidence. But here's where the loop can reset. It doesn't take drastic measures, just a recalibration. Start with 1 day a week without red meat. Replace it with a quinoa salad with chickpeas or grilled salmon with lemon and herbs. Feel the difference, then expand. Over weeks, your inflammatory markers can drop. Your muscles will respond better to light exercise. And you may find yourself reaching for a walk, not because you have to, but because you can. In the words of Dr. Miriam Nelson, renowned for her research on aging and diet, muscle decline is not a given. It's a choice we make with every forkful. So ask yourself, is what you're eating building you up or slowly breaking you down? The elderly wisdom we often forget is this: simpler food, closer to the earth, brings us closer to our strength. Red meat isn't the enemy, but excess is. And for seniors, excess has sharper consequences. A fall at 70 isn't the same as a fall at 40. A delay in healing, a complication in surgery, or even permanent mobility loss are more likely outcomes. That's why prevention is priceless. Don't wait until your legs give out to reconsider your needs. Make changes when you still have the power to choose. So next time you're about to sear that thick-cut steak, ask, is this feeding your muscles or feeding the fire that's wearing them down? And if the answer gives you pause, then you're already on the path to strength. In part 3, we'll explore another trap: canned meats, those long-lasting staples that hide short-term damage. Because the convenience they offer may come at the cost of your mobility, energy, and independence. Stay with us. Your next step could be your strongest one yet. At first glance, canned meats seem like a blessing. They're easy to store, quick to prepare, and comforting in their familiarity. Vienna sausages, Spam, potted meat, canned ham. Many seniors grew up with them. They remind us of childhood lunches and wartime rationing, of frugality and resourcefulness. But what once represented stability now quietly threatens our strength, mobility, and independence. And far too many seniors are paying the price with every spoonful. Take Frank, 78, from rural Ohio. Living alone, he kept a shelf stocked with canned meats. "It's just easier," he told his daughter. "No mess, no fuss." But over time, she noticed his pace slowing. First, he used the railing to climb stairs. Then came the hand on the wall while walking. By the time Frank agreed to see a specialist, his muscle mass had declined significantly, and his blood pressure had spiked. The diagnosis: chronic sodium overload, nerve damage, and reduced circulation. All of it traced back to the hidden cocktail of preservatives, sodium nitrite, and phosphate additives in his beloved canned meats. These preservatives do more than keep meat fresh. They actively chip away at your body's foundation. Sodium nitrites are linked to oxidative stress and cellular inflammation, silent processes that weaken muscle fibers and damage the nerves responsible for coordination. You know that feeling when your legs feel like jelly, or when getting up from a chair feels like climbing a hill? That's not just age, that's your food speaking through your body. Preserved meats also tend to be extremely high in sodium. Just one can of Vienna sausages can contain more salt than an entire day's recommendation, and the effects are insidious. Sodium draws water into the bloodstream, elevating blood pressure and leading to swelling in the lower limbs. That heavy leg sensation is so common in the elderly. It often begins on your plate. Over time, the swelling leads to tightness, discomfort, and restricted movement. Blood vessels get constricted, cutting off the steady supply of oxygen and nutrients your leg muscles need. Without that supply, even a short walk to the mailbox becomes a dream. There's another trap: the illusion of protein. Yes, canned meats contain protein, but it's protein loaded with inflammatory baggage. Unlike fresh meats or legumes, the protein in processed canned forms is less bioavailable, meaning your body doesn't absorb it efficiently. You're eating meat, but your muscles remain undernourished. That's why seniors like Frank lose strength even when their diet appears protein-rich. The body isn't fueled, it's fighting. Worse still, long-term consumption of preservatives like sodium phosphate has been linked to bone mineral loss. A 2020 study in the Journal of Renal Nutrition found that elderly adults with high phosphate intake from processed meats had a significantly higher risk of bone fractures and impaired kidney function. Think about that. Every bite may be leaching calcium from your bones, weakening the very pillars that keep you upright. Hip fractures, once rare in your youth, now become a looming danger. And it's not just a fall, it's a loss of independence, of control, of dignity. But perhaps the most underestimated risk of these meats lies in their impact on the nervous system. The same chemical additives used to preserve flavor can disrupt nerve signals. Your balance worsens, reflexes slow, small stumbles turn into dangerous falls. In one alarming report from the Neurology and Aging Review, seniors with regular intake of nitrite-rich meats had a 38% higher likelihood of developing peripheral neuropathy, a condition that causes numbness, burning, and weakness in the legs. Yet none of this happens overnight. That's the trap. You feel fine, then just a little slow, then suddenly a cane, a walker, a hospital bed. It's the loop we saw earlier. Convenience becomes dependence, and dependence becomes struggle to hold you upright. But just like any curve, you can flip it. That's what happened with Eileen, 72, from Seattle. After 2 minor falls and a persistent ache in her calves, her granddaughter, a nutrition student, convinced her to switch up her pantry. They replaced canned meats with simple, fresh options: boiled eggs, rotisserie chicken, lentil soup. Within 2 months, Eileen's swelling eased. Her steps felt steadier. "I thought my body was giving up," she said. "Turns out it just needed a little help." And that's the powerful truth behind elderly wisdom. It's not about returning to youth. It's about reclaiming agency, about making intentional choices that restore what time and bad habits have taken. It's about understanding that what we eat after 60 is even more, because our body is less forgiving, but still capable of incredible renewal. So, what should replace the canned convenience? Fresh cooked chicken breasts stored in freezer-safe containers, low-sodium tuna packed in water, lentils stewed with turmeric and garlic, tofu sautéed with greens. Each bite strengthens nerve connections, reduces inflammation, and replenishes muscle fibers. And don't forget hydration, something many seniors neglect. Water-rich foods like cucumbers, celery, and watermelon help keep your joints lubricated and your blood flowing smoothly. They don't sit in cans, but they help you stay standing. The lesson here isn't to demonize convenience, it's to redefine it. True convenience is the ability to walk to your garden, to rise from bed without effort, to hug your grandchildren without wincing. No can will give you that, but your choices will. In the final part of this journey, we'll discuss the meats that look the most enticing: smoked ribs, jerky, barbecued delights, and reveal the hidden harm they bring to aging legs and fragile nerves. Because flavor doesn't have to mean fragility, and strength doesn't have to mean sacrifice. Few things stir up the appetite like the scent of smoked ribs on a summer day, or the chewy satisfaction of a well-seasoned beef jerky. These flavors are not just food, they are memory, tradition, indulgence. For many seniors, barbecued meats represent life's pleasures that should be preserved. But beneath the savory crust lies a truth that has quietly eroded the strength of millions. Flavor often comes at the cost of function. Let's meet James, 81, a retired firefighter from Texas. Known in his neighborhood for his weekend barbecue sessions, James prided himself on his famous smoked brisket and dry rub ribs. But around his 77th birthday, his legs began to betray him. He chalked it up to age. First it was soreness after grilling, then it became stiffness in the mornings, and then a sudden fall on his back porch. "I thought it was arthritis," he recalled. Turns out, it was something far more avoidable. Doctors found advanced peripheral neuropathy, chronic joint inflammation, and significant muscle atrophy in his thighs. A nutritionist asked about his protein sources. James, puzzled, replied, "Plenty: jerky, ribs, sausages." That was exactly the issue. Smoked, grilled, and hormone-treated meats are often packed with additives, nitrates, phosphates, and in the case of commercial poultry or beef, synthetic hormones that disrupt your body's regulatory systems. The very compounds that give these meats their punchy taste and long shelf life are the same ones that create internal chaos. They promote chronic inflammation, degrade connective tissues, and interfere with hormonal balance, crucial for muscle repair. Let's start with smoked meats. The slow smoking process releases polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, a class of toxins that accumulate in charred flesh. According to the National Cancer Institute, exposure to PAHs not only increases cancer risk, but also undermines systemic immunity, especially in older adults whose detox systems have slowed with age. That means smoked ribs aren't just clogging arteries, they're stiffening joints, fraying nerves, and exhausting muscles at the cellular level. Meanwhile, beef jerky and other cured meats are saturated with sodium and chemical preservatives. A 2019 study in neurobiology of aging linked high nitrite consumption to degeneration in myelin, the protective sheath around nerves. Without healthy myelin, your legs may receive distorted signals from the brain, leading to stumbles, poor coordination, and eventually full-blown instability. But what about hormone-treated meat? Conventionally raised chickens, pigs, and cattle are often injected with growth hormones to speed up production. Unfortunately, those hormones don't disappear when the animal is processed. Instead, they enter your bloodstream and subtly disrupt your endocrine system. In elderly bodies which already produce less testosterone than estrogen, these artificial surges can wreak havoc, increasing joint pain, delaying muscle recovery, and accelerating fat storage in the legs. You might be thinking, but I've eaten ribs all my life. That's true. But your body now is not the body you had at 40. At 70 or 80, your system is more sensitive, slower to recover, and less forgiving of inflammatory inputs. That's the J-curve we've seen in every story. What once was strength now becomes the source of weakness. Take Dolores, 76, from Arizona. Once an avid hiker, she began to experience tingling and weakness in her calves. Her doctors suspected early neuropathy, but it wasn't until a registered dietitian asked about her weekend habits that the answer surfaced. Dolores loved smoked turkey legs and store-bought jerky. Within 3 months of eliminating them and replacing them with grilled zucchini, roasted salmon, and lentil-based dishes, her symptoms eased. She's not back to hiking mountains, but she's walking unaided and sleeping through the night without cramps. Science confirms these outcomes. A 2021 meta-analysis in the Journal of Geriatric Medicine revealed that seniors who consumed smoked or cured meats more than twice a week had a 47% higher incidence of mobility-related disabilities than those who favored fresh, unprocessed proteins. The body's inflammatory response was the key predictor, and its severity correlated directly with chemical additive intake. Even more sobering, high nitrate levels have been found to contribute to cognitive decline. That's right. What weakens your legs can also fog your mind. Brain and body are inextricably linked. When circulation suffers in one, the other often follows. So, what do we do with this knowledge? First, we don't despair. This isn't a call to abandon all flavor. It's a call to choose flavor that supports, not sabotages. Think slow-roasted vegetables with paprika and cumin, grilled salmon with lemon and herbs, tempeh glazed in garlic soy. These are deeply satisfying, inflammation-reducing meals that fuel strength, not sap it. We also become mindful of the loop: craving, indulgence, consequence. The initial pleasure of biting into a smoky rib often masks the next day's stiffness or the nighttime leg cramps. When we recognize the pattern, we gain the power to interrupt it. Just like James, who now runs a blog called Grill Strong, sharing anti-inflammatory recipes that preserve tradition without destroying mobility. And hydration again plays a role. Smoked meats, packed with salt, demand more water to balance sodium levels. When seniors are dehydrated, a common reality, this imbalance worsens fatigue and joint strain. Add in the sluggish metabolism of aging, and recovery becomes even slower. So, alongside dietary change, drinking water regularly and consuming hydrating foods is not a luxury, it's medicine. At the end of the day, no meat is worth your legs. No flavor is worth a fall. The joy of food must be matched by the freedom to move, to rise unaided, to step confidently. Elderly reflections remind us, strength isn't about what you can lift, it's about what lifts you. And often, that begins on the plate. In our closing reflections, we'll revisit the power of choice. Every meal becomes a declaration of health, of independence, of hope. Because senior health isn't just a statistic, it's a story you get to shape, one bite at a time. If this message resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe for more life lessons from the elderly, whether it's senior health, inspiration, or timeless wisdom. Let us know in the comments, where are you watching from, and What's one change you're inspired to make today? We'd love to hear your story. Love.